In this video, I'm diving into one of the most essential aspects of any e-commerce business, branding. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to refine your existing brand, understanding the fundamentals of branding is going to give you that competitive advantage in the world of online business. So let's dive into it. To truly understand branding, I've broken it down into 4 segments. The first segment is about defining your brand and its importance. So what exactly is branding? Well, I can tell you right now that it isn't the logo and it isn't your catchy tagline. It isn't even your font or the colors that you use in your brand guidelines. It is way more than that. It's actually a total sum of your brand's identity. And really that boils down to the emotion that you evoke and the promises that you make to the customers that buy from you. I mean, think about it. When you see that iconic swoosh, you're only thinking about one brand, right? That's the power of branding. I think a really great way of thinking about branding is actually from a quote by Marty Neumeier. He mentioned that a brand is a customer's gut feeling about a product, service, or company. The bottom line is that branding is what sets you apart from the competition. It's what makes your brand memorable and also relatable. Let's break down the key elements that are necessary in order to create a strong brand. Firstly, we've got the logo. Think of the logo as the face of the business. That's how your customers recognize both your brand and also your products. Again, going back to Nike and their swoosh, it's so easily recognizable wherever you go, wherever you see it, that you instantly know who they are. You've then got the color palette, and colors evoke emotion. They also influence how your customers actually perceive your brand. For example, you've got Coca-Cola with their iconic energetic red, which obviously stands out wherever you see it. The third part is typography, fonts. It might not seem as much of a big deal as your colors or your logo, but in actual fact, they play a huge role in your brand's identity and the overall perception of it. If you take Apple, for example, the fonts that they use with their branding are very much aligned with their entire company, the products that they sell, the way that they market, and overall the perception that you get from Apple is obviously this innovative, cutting edge business that is always at the forefront of technology. And if you look at their fonts, you can see that sleek, modern and timeless design which ties into everything that they're doing. The fourth and final element is going to be voice and tone. Now this really depends on your product and the audience that you're trying to appeal to. For example, take the Financial Times, a newspaper that's obviously appealing to a slightly older generation, and so the language, the way they communicate is normally going to be more formal, more professional, whereas if you took a brand like Gymshark, for example, it's going to be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit funnier, wittier, because that's who they are trying to appeal to, a younger audience. Alright, so we're on to segment 3, and this is all about crafting your brand story. Behind every successful brand, there is a compelling story. The story is something that needs to be relatable, and it really allows you to create a deeper connection with your customers, and that's how you start creating loyal customers for life. So that means coming up with an origin story, and that's sharing about how your brand came to be, why you came to be, so that customers can actually relate to the reasons as to why you felt like there was a need for such a brand in the marketplace. It also goes a little bit deeper than that. You need to understand as a brand what values you have and also the mission you're on. In order to create the customers that you're looking for that are going to come and buy from you time and time again, you need to be on a mission that they can relate to, that they want to be a part of, so that they can help you have that impact on the world. For example, at the core of Patagonia, their core mission and values are all centered around environmental sustainability. And so everything they do, from the products to the materials they use, is all centered around that one mission. And that really allows them to acquire customers that believe in the same cause and mission as them. And that means they've created customers for life. Now, your story is ever evolving. And a really great way of bringing your customers into the story is by actually showcasing it. A great example of it is actually Airbnb. They are always showcasing some of the experiences that their customers have by being able to travel around the world and meet local hosts of where they're staying. And it's a really great way of showing the impact that their brand, their business is having on their customers' lives. The last segment is consistency and evolution. Remember, branding is not a one-time thing. It's not something that you just do right at the very beginning of building your business. It's in fact something that is always going to be an ongoing process. To add to that, you need to make sure that you are consistent with your branding. That means that the logos, the font, the colors that are used everywhere, from your website to your ads to your emails to your social media posts, absolutely everywhere. That consistency is going to allow the awareness of your brand to grow, and it's going to allow your customers to recognize it much easier. For example, if you look at Starbucks, wherever you go in the world, their iconic green, their iconic logo that they have stays the same, whether you're in the UK, whether in the US, or even Australia. One thing with branding that you shouldn't be afraid of is evolving. Business trends are always changing. The market changes, what customers desire changes, supply and demand is constantly changing, and that means that your brand also has to evolve and adapt. If you don't, that's when you're going to fail. But if you do, that's when you're going to succeed. So there you have it, the basics of branding for your e-commerce business. Building a brand isn't something that happens overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, and so you really need to take your time with this. But it's something, like I said before, that you should be evolving constantly. So don't get stuck on it. Don't delay building your business because you can't find the right color, you can't find the right font. Things can change, but make sure that while you are getting your branding in place, and once you do figure it out, that you are applying the main best practices, which is keeping it consistent and also making sure that you're listening to what your customers and your audience desire. So if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to hear more about e-commerce, building brands, and online businesses in general, then click on the subscribe button below, because I'm going to be sharing as much information as I can with you on this channel from the experience that I've had building many dozens of brands, as well as helping lots of other brands within my marketing agency. And I hope to share some of the behind the scenes of that, as well as some of the best strategies and tips that I've learned along the way. And I hope to share all of that with you on this channel. So again, thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.